What's up, J Fusion fans? This is Philip, and welcome to another superhero time review. So, I was absent last week. I'm sorry about that. I will make another video in place of that. I'm still working on that video, by the way. So stay tuned, hang tight. It will be out soon, I promise. But for today, let's talk about Kamen Rider Saber episode 10 and Kira Major episode 31. So before we begin, by the way, I would like to remind everyone that these videos are not intended for viewers under the age of 13 and some spoiler alerts just in case. So with that said, let's go. All right. Kamen Rider Saber episode 10. Now, there are three probably key points that I want to tackle in this episode. So, first off, so we do have a new character, which is Reika Shindai, and she says she is a mysterious messenger, but she appears to be an ally of sorts. Now, uh, so far, we do know that Toma and the other riders that we've met so far gather at a secret location called the Northern Base, which appears to be or seemingly is located in the North Pole or somewhere hidden and seems to have a lot of snow in it. And Reika reveals that she comes from the southern base. So the Sword of Logos apparently has two locations. So one is the north base, which in which Toma and the other riders that we've met so far belong, and Reika belongs to the south base, which would probably include all of the other common riders that would come later into the show. So I guess it gives them more coverage. Like they spread their activities around the world, presumably. So we do know that Deka is indeed part of the Sword of Logos, and she comes from the South Base. So we already established that there are two Sword of Logos bases in the world, or in Saber's world, to be more precise. Now, another key point here is that Reika also gives Kento the last Wonder Ride book that he needs in order to complete his Wonder combo. So today we see Golden Alangina making its debut. So now we have Crimson Dragon, Fantastic Lion, and Golden Alangina fighting side by side. So I guess that's the second key point here, which is Golden Alangina's debut and seeing the wonder combos for the three primary riders, or well, yeah. So the three main riders kind of debut in their power ups. So they are using it all together, and now this one may probably contain some spoilers. So we now see who the real person under the Kamen Rider Caliber suit is. So we now see his face, and it's actually established that it's not, I repeat, it's not Hayato Fukamiya under the mask. Now, it's actually shown in episode 7 where we see Kamen Rider Caliber's civilian form. However, his face is covered in shadows, especially with the sun behind him. So it's natural that his face is not clear and it's not shown. Uh, which, again, already hints that it's not the caliber that we think it is. No, it's not who we think it is. And surprisingly, the man behind Kamen Rider Caliber, so this caliber that we've been fighting all this time, is actually someone that we have seen before. Aha, so you already have a hint as to who it is. But this one I'm not going to tell you guys. So, if you can find the episodes of Kamen Rider Saber online pretty soon, so I will let you guys see that for yourselves. But uh, what is established in today's episode is that Hayato Fukamiya is not the Kamen Rider that we've been fighting all this time, so far, at least. So, yeah, moving on to Kira Major. So, I've seen comments here on this channel, on Facebook, probably saying that, Toei's shows, they feel like more like 30-minute toy commercials. Actually, I've mentioned this in the I think the problems with Kamen Rider Saber video. Yeah, I think I mentioned it there. So, uh 30-minute toy commercial, and guess what? Today's Kira Major is exactly that. I'm not sure if Toei is trolling the fans, or I guess Super Sentai toys, Kira Major's toys are selling pretty poorly. So I guess they try to integrate the actual deluxe toys, uh, specifically the deluxe Kiramejin and Machine Dorijan, or aka Gigant Driller. So they are incorporated into this episode, and they are basically the main focus. The deluxe toys are the main focus of this episode. Oh my God. But surprisingly, the story in this episode is actually, quite heartwarming, actually. So, to summarize, what happened is that the episode starts off with Juru and Takamichi being sent off to fight a Jamenju, which kind of, using its powers, shrinks them to size, and basically explains why we see the deluxe toys being used. So they kind of represent the shrunken Kiramejin and Gigant Driller. So while it does happen while the other Kina majors are out doing their own stuff, so we don't see them for most of the episode. They do appear, but much later. So, uh, what happened? Okay, so after being shrunk, uh, they kind of meet a boy. So this boy happens to pick up, or happens to find the parts, or he happens to find Kinamajin and the Gigant Driller on the way home, and we kind of see, this boy's struggle. So he lives with his mother. Apparently, she's a single parent. We don't go. We're not given the details as to how and why she's a single parent, but yeah, we just know that this boy and his mother are the only ones living together in at home. So uh, this boy picks up Kinamajin and Gigant Driller and begins playing with them, of course. And this episode, we can also call this one Toy Story, because the toys eventually come to life. So eventually, well, at first, they pretend to not move as to make the boy believe that the machines are just toys, but they eventually move. And what happens next is actually rather heartwarming. So I guess this kind of, like children who grew up with single parents would probably be able to relate to today's episode of Kira Major. Now, I'm really not into serious topics, especially in children's shows, but it's actually fascinating how much realism they have put into this episode, surprisingly, despite being technically a 30-minute toy commercial, but it's surprisingly good, you know? So, of course, things happen eventually. The Kira Majors, the machines, especially Takamichi and Juru, eventually grow back to normal size. And that's it. For this episode, surprisingly, there's a lot less focus on the Kira Majors themselves, but it focused on this boy and his mother, that kind of family bond that we kind of rarely see in tokusatsu shows, but yeah, they kind of do that sometimes. But I'm really impressed with what they did today, despite being, like I've said earlier, a 30-minute toy commercial. And yeah, it's apparently that good. So for today's superhero time, so Kamen Rider Saber episode uh, 10, I'm actually going to give it a 4 out of 5 because the action is really good. The plot twist, very important to see. We do get new information. Uh, Daishi, Tetsuo Daishinji is by far my favorite character. I love him so much. So, yeah, well, basically good, but I'm actually seeing, improvements in the story. Uh, you know, I'm waiting for the other common writers to be introduced. Well, uh, I actually could care less if they introduce the other writers quickly or slowly, but as long as the story builds up and it's it's actually good. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 today. But Kira Major's episode, I'm actually going to give it a 5 out of 5. Now, I'm going to say this again. Despite being a 30-minute toy commercial, the story, you know, when you focus less on the Kira Majors, or, when you focus less on the main characters and um, focus on the kind of people that they help, it's actually very interesting. So it's not always about the heroes, but the people that they help sometimes. And we could probably learn a thing or two in today's episode. So I highly suggest you do watch Kira Major episode 31. uh, if probably may not be the best out there, in terms of like the entertainment value, but definitely uh, in terms of the life lessons that they give, it's actually really good, I would say. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, share this video, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you guys get the latest from JE Fusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you in the next superhero time. Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't seen the news for the Kamen Rider Saber movie, I'm also going to put a link down in the description if you guys haven't checked it out yet. But yeah, it's down there. So go check it out. So anyways, again, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.